What's up, my nerds? Today we are moving on to Chapter 2, Thinking Like an Economist. So, Section 1 we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about what are the economist's two roles and how they differ. What are the models and how do economists use them? So, we are going to cover two different models in this chapter. Today, I'm going to cover the circular flow. The next day, I'm covering production possibilities. And then on the very last day, I'll talk about the difference between macro and micro, normative and positive statements. All right. So what are the two things an economist has to do? They're actually scientists. We play two roles. Number one, scientists. We're trying to explain how the world works, but then we're also policy advisors. We're trying to improve it. So not only are you using data all the time in economics, but you're looking at that data and trying to figure out, okay, well, how will this affect society? Do we make sure the government gets more involved? Do we say stay out of it and let businesses and firms do their own thing? That's kind of what the purpose of an economist is. So economists do employ the scientific method, this very impersonal, unbiased development and testing theories of how the world works. So economists definitely, we're going to, in this class, not only use models, but we're going to make a lot of assumptions. It just makes things more simplified and easier, especially in an intro-level economics class. So we're going to assume a lot of situations. Like, for instance, tomorrow or the next day when we look at production possibilities frontier, we're going to assume that a country only makes two products and that's it. Now, obviously, that's not true, but just for the sake of ease, we're going to do things like that. Like I just said right there. Okay, so yeah, it's unrealistic, but it just, by simplifying it, you're going to learn the concept as a whole better. Now, the models we'll use are highly simplified representations using these assumptions to understand the reality of something. And we do this all the time, but so does everybody else. You know, roadmaps don't have every single tree and bush and road name on them, but it gives us an idea of an overall picture. You see this in Volp's room or any of the scientists, Dev's room or anybody. It's not the whole thing, but it gives you a better idea of how it works or where things are. Model airplanes, of course. And, when you go to the dentist and they show you these things, it gives you an idea. It's not really what it is, but it gives you an idea in order to understand a bigger, complex idea. All right, so the first model we're talking about today is the circular flow diagram. So the circular flow diagram is a visual model of what I was talking about with like the Adam Smith's market economy of how things move and flow in a market. So there's two actors in the circular flow diagram: households, which are consumers, and firms, which are producers. And then there's two markets within the market. There's the market for goods and services, which we're going to cover in units 1 through 4 in this class. And then the market for the factors of production. So what the heck are factors of production? Factors of production are really what they sound like. They're the factors you need in order to produce something. So what are those factors of production? That would include labor. You got to have workers to produce something. You need land, and land can be natural resources as well. And you need capital, which is like the any type of material, buildings, machines used to produce things. Capital could also be human capital, but which is like our knowledge and expertise and education that will help us produce stuff as well. All right, so let's look at the circular flow diagram because you're going to have to draw one later. All right, so it starts with the households and firms. Okay. Now the households, what do they do? What is their role in the circular flow in the market? Okay. Their role is that they own the factors of productions to sell or rent them to firms for income. So like the easiest way to kind of understand this, and I know it sounds a little bit like prostitution, but just bear with me. We sell ourselves to businesses in the name of helping them produce things. So when we go and work for somebody, we're basically selling our labor to them. But we are the ones that buy those goods and services. Now, the firms are the exact opposite. They buy the factors of production and sell the goods and services. So they have exact opposite roles in the market. All right. So the two types of markets are the market for the factor of production where we, if you can see, let me get my little highlighter. There we go. Okay. So we, the household, are selling our land, labor, and capital to the firms, and the firms call those their factors to produce something. And my little highlighter is being super laggy. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can get that out of there. Laggy. This is annoying. All right. Quit it. All right. So I'm just going to use my mouse to do it instead because that was dumb. All right. So if I can get back to this. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna backspace one. So the firms, in return, we're not giving it up for free. So they pay us the wages, or if they were to, like, if we owned land that they could rent for us, that's like they're paying rent to us, and we consider that income. Okay. All right. Now the markets for goods and services is where we spend money on stuff. We go to Target and spend our money there, and Target makes the money because they, in return, are giving us goods and services. They are selling them or buying them. G&S is goods and services. Goods, remember, are anything that's actually tangible. You can feel it. Phone, pen, super cool headband. Whereas services are what I'm doing right now. I'm providing you a service by giving you education. You go get a haircut, that's a service. And it just goes on and on. It's a circular flow because then we work, that's how they pay us, but then we pay them back by buying their stuff. All right, so that's it for today. So there's a worksheet where I want you to come up with any market you want to. I want you to use like real life examples of household firms, markets, and I want the names of them and like what the spending looks like, what the revenue looks like, just coming up with something. So like, let's say you work at Dairy Joy, you're going to put in, your name for household and Dairy Joy for firms. And then you're going to put in what those goods and, ice cream for goods and services sold and ice cream for goods and services bought. That's kind of what I want you to do. And then that's what you'll turn in to me. So I'm done for today. Have a good one. I will see you later if I can stop this. There we go.